Very good morning to all of you. Sunday morning, we are doing the study. Uh, very nice to see all of you. One question is being asked by Isan. Let me give the answer to that question and then we will start the value of the supply. Please explain the supply of the service under forward charge when the invoice is not issued. Okay, within specified time. And also what is the milestone? See, if the invoice has been issued, but beyond time, then the value of, then the time of supply is provision of service or payment, whichever is earlier. Provision of service means the day when the service is being completed, or if the advance payment is being received, so whichever is earlier, that would be the time of supply. Now, we have also discussed that in case of the continuous supply of service, in which more than 3 months continuity is required, in that case, the time of supply is linked to the payment. First, when the payment is being actually received, if there is a contract and there is a return, it is being due date. So you will determine the time of supply according to the due date. Okay. Or if not having any agreement or contract or not specified, then actual payment. And third was, if the payment is linked to the completion of certain event. I'm giving the example, Mr. A is a work contractor. He's constructing the building. Fine. And Mr. B, who is a recipient, is saying that when entire structure will be completed, the 10% would be paid by me. When the first floor, second floor will be completed, additional 20% would be paid by me. So in that case, it is linked to the completion of event. So certain milestone, if you achieve, then the payment will be made. So in that case, it is linked to the milestone. It is linked to the event. So when the event is being completed, the time of supply will be triggered at that point of time, whether Mr. A actually received the payment or not. Is it okay? Kindly confirm. Very good morning to all of you. Bhumika, Rajiv Kumar, Darshan, Kiran, Sankaran and Mayur Gupta, and Ishan also. Ishan, एक बार confirm करना so that we can proceed to the topic. Next point is date of provision, means the day when the service is being completed. Suppose my last class is on 17 July. So it means I have completed the service, my service provision on 17th July. If I will not issue the invoice within 30 days to the ICAI, then my time of supply will be 17 July, the date of the provision. Now let's move. Diksha, Dinesh and Mayur once again. Good morning. Now the topic is value of supply. Okay. In this topic, we are going to discuss 3 major concepts or 3 important points. First, let's say that what is the value of the supply? What is the concept of the value supply? It is being written in 15 subsection 1. It is being given in the 15 subsection 2. And it is being given in the 15 subsection 3. These are the main 3 important points. The value of the supplies made to unrelated person. And what is the inclusion and what is the discount? So there are 3 concepts. First, what is the value of the supply? Second, what all other things will be added in the value? There are the 5 things which will be added in the value. And third concept, we are going to discuss that what is the treatment of the discount in the value. Thank you, Mr. Dasan. Thank you so much. Now, see, what is the value of the supply? The GST law says that the money which is paid or payable, money which is paid or payable will be the transaction value and on which GST need to be charged. But they have put two important conditions. What are the conditions? That they are saying that the recipient should not be related person and the price is the sole consideration. We'll discuss the definition of the related person, the definition of the consideration we are going to discuss. But what is the point? It says that the money which is paid, the price which is paid or payable, where the supplier and the recipient are not related and the price is the sole consideration, then the transaction value will be the value of the supply, and on this you need to charge the GST. Let's take an example. Suppose I am doing the business of the wristwatch. Okay. Mr. A has come to my shop and purchased one wristwatch worth of rupees, let's say 2000. I will, and he has paid rupees 2000 in cash, which you can see from the picture also. I will charge the GST on rupees 2000. Matter close. In the afternoon, Mr. B has approached and he told that he like to buy 20 pieces of the wristwatch. Fine. I told him that you please pay rupees 1800 per wristwatch. Same wristwatch I have supplied in rupees 2000. Now I am making the supply at 1800. GST need to be charged on rupees 1800 multiplied by number of pieces. Because the price which is actually paid or payable. Now in the evening, one MNC company has approached and he told that he like to distribute this wristwatch on the Diwali as a gift to all the 200 employees. I have given the price of rupees 1500. It means the transaction value means the price which is actually paid or payable will be the taxable and on which the GST need to be charged. You cannot fix. GST law is not fixing the value that it has to be made on this price. No. Let's take last example. Assume that technology used in that wristwatch is abundant. Now that technology is obsolete. My costing of that watch was 1000 rupees and I have decided to sell at rupees 800. GST need to be paid on rupees 800. Question is, can the goods be sold below cost? Yes, provided the main important condition that the person to whom you are selling should not be a related person and the price which is paid or payable should come 100% in money. What is the meaning of this 100% monetary consideration? Sometimes there's a concept of barter transaction, correct? There is an exchange offer in which the actual money is less. Why? Because there is old goods is also being given by the recipient. Therefore, the 15 subsection 1 we have understood. They are putting the two conditions that if you are doing with the related party or if you are doing with the some non-monetary consideration, in that case, the transaction value, money paid or payable will not be accepted. Money paid or payable will not be accepted. Pay the GST on the entire value. Otherwise, pay the GST on the transaction value. Now let's move to the further. What is the meaning of consideration? Consideration, any payment made or to be made, whether in money or otherwise. When the payment is in otherwise non-monetary, then transaction value will not be accepted. Got my point? What is the meaning of consideration? The consideration means any payment made or to be made in money or otherwise in respect of a response or for inducement of the supply, whether by the recipient or by any other person, but shall not include any subsidy given by the central government or state government. Further, the monetary value of any act or forbearance in respect of, in response to, or for the inducement of the supply of the goods, whether by the recipient or by any other person, but shall not include the subsidy given by the central government or state government. Further, it says that deposit given in respect of the supply shall not be considered as payment made for such supply unless the supply applies such deposit in consideration for the said supply. So security deposit is not the consideration. Subsidy given by the government is not the consideration. But whether payment is made in money or otherwise, whether it is being given to the recipient or by any other person, on behalf of the recipient, it will be the consideration. Now the word related person has been defined in the GST. What is the meaning of related person? It is the section 15 ka explanation. Clause A. It says that the officer or director of one another business. So one is the officer or the director of business. Then the business and the director or the officer will be considered as related person. Legally recognized partner in the business. So the business firm and its partner are a related person. Such person are employer and employee. Such person are employer and employee. Very, very important. Employer and employee are also related person. Directly or indirectly own, control or hold 25% or more of the outstanding voting stock or shares of both of them. So they are if any person holding the stock of 25% or more, they will be treated or they will be considered as a related person. One of them directly or indirectly control the other. Both of them are directly or indirectly controlled by third person. Together them, they directly or indirectly control the third person. So para 5, 6 and 7, clause 5, clause 6 and clause 7. So in terms of the controlling power, if one has the control, then they will be considered as a related person. Member of the same family are also considered to be the related person. Further, it says that person include the legal person and the person who are associated in the business of one another. In that, one is the sole agent, sole distributor, sole concessionaire, howsoever described of other shall be deemed to be the related. So sole agent, sole distributor will also be considered as related person. So these are the definition of related person. Now let's move. Correct. You also have learned this particular definition because definition of the consideration and definition of the related party we have to understand in the supply chapter also. So you have already learned. Very nice. Okay. Now the value of the supply include 5 things. So first, from the chart, try to remember the name. What are the 5 things? First is the taxes. Second is any amount for which supplier is liable to pay. third is incidental expenditure, fourth is interest or late fees, and five is subsidy. एक बार वापस नाम याद करें, ये क्या है? मतलब the amount which we have discussed will include these also. We'll discuss one by one in detail, but let me discuss in the summary manner. What are the five things which has to be added in the value? Taxes, amount which supplier is liable to pay, incidental expenditure, interest or late fees, and subsidy. The five things we are adding in the transaction value. Subsection 2, clause A. Any taxes, duties, fee, and charges, I'm underlining this word, levied under any law for the time being in force, but other than this act, means CGST Act, SGST Act, UTGST Act, GST compensation to the state act, if charged separately by the supplier. What is the mean? Giving you first simple example. Let's say Mr. A is making the supply of tobacco. What is the product? Tobacco. Tobacco is the product which is leviable to GST as well as excise duty. When Mr. A will raise the invoice, let's say 1,000 rupees is the value. He will also add the excise duty, let's say rupees 100. For the ease of calculation, I'm taking the rounding of figure. Might be the actual rate of the taxes and the value may be different. So I am making Mr. A is making the supply of tobacco in 1,000 rupees, in which excise duty is being charged 100 rupees. So the GST would be charged on 1,000 or including 100. Answer is being given by 15 to A. Any taxes other than this act will be added in the value, and on the total value, that is 1,100, GST would be charged. Can anybody give me one more example? कोई भी आप example मुझे दे सकते हैं. Any one more example for this clause? I have given one example, let's tobacco. Can you give me any one more example? Wherein I can say 15 subsection 2 clause A, this taxes, duty, cess, etc. would be added in the value, and the GST need to be charged on the entire value including taxes. I would need one more example from all the participants. Taxes. So, Darshan, petrol, isan, alcoholic liquor. Will the GST be applicable? Will the GST be leviable on the petrol and alcoholic liquor? I need one example on which we are charging the GST, and there is some other taxes also. So Dinesh, the point is correct, but my question was any taxes which is charged or which is levied by any other law. This is a freight charges. So you have given multiple answer, but let me give you one answer. One more example. There are multiple answers. Say, let's say, if we are importing the goods, can anybody tell me that on import of the goods, which tax is being levied? अगर मैं import करता हूं goods को, तो क्या taxes levy होता है? Can anybody tell me? एक मिनट दीजिएगा खाली. You all are saying custom duty. Very true. Custom duty, social welfare cess, and IGST. If we are importing the goods, then custom duty, social welfare cess would be there, and we need to raise the. What do you think? Whether TCS would be added in the value or not? Tax collection at source. TCS is a levy under any other law? The answer would be no. Answer would be no. See, there is a difference between levy and collection. There is a difference between levy and collection. The TCS is not the levy. TCS is only being collected so that income tax department should be aware about this transaction. It is not being levied. Therefore, Circular 76 given by the CBIC, issued by the CBIC, Circular 76 issued by the CBIC is clarifying that TCS will not be included in the value, and therefore GST need to be charged excluding the value of the TCS. GST need to be charged excluding the value of the TCS. Let's move further. This is the Circular 76 in which they were given the answer in the question number 5, that for the purpose of determining the value of the supply under GST, TCS would not be included as it is interim levy, not have the character of taxes. Now let's move that any amount, clause B we are talking about, clause A is completed. Any amount that supplier is liable to pay in relation to supply, but which has been incurred by the recipient and not included in the price. So there are two conditions. So rather there are 3 points which we need to understand from the clause B. First, the expenditure is the liability of the supplier. Expenditure is being paid by the recipient. Expenditure is not included in the value. Then it will be added in the value. Let me give you one simple example. Let me give you one simple example. Mr. A is a contractor to XYZ Limited. As per the terms of the contract, as per the terms of the contract, it is being fixed that Mr. A will raise the invoice of rupees 10 lakh for the work contract service. Perfect. Agreement specify that Mr. A is liable to incur the following expenditure, in which the cement were also one of the expenditure. Okay. What is the value which is being fixed as per the agreement? 10 lakh rupees. In the scope, it is being written that he will be liable to incur the expenditure of the cement, labor, raw material, and need to complete the construction of the factory. Now, XYZ is a cement manufacturing company. XYZ is a cement manufacturing company. XYZ is saying that please do not purchase the cement from outside. Let's take from me only. He has supplied the cement to Mr. X on FOC free of cost. Worth of rupees, let's say 2 lakh. XYZ has supplied the cement to Mr. A for construction of XYZ factory worth of rupees 2 lakh. XYZ is saying, now because I have given the cement to you, so kindly raise the invoice not for 10 lakh, please raise the invoice for 8 lakh. Now Mr. A, who is raising the invoice of 8 lakh to XYZ, clause B will come into the picture. He will say, no, 8 lakh is not accepted. You need to add the expenditure. Now read the language. The expenditure, which is the responsibility of the supplier, incurred by the recipient and not added in the value. Therefore, you need to add 2 lakh and raise the GST invoice of rupees entire 10 lakh. This is the clause B. Is it clear to all? एक बार confirm करो. After that, I will ask 1 or 2 more questions related to this transactions only. Darshan, TCS is concept of income tax, tax collection at source under income tax. ये concept clear हुआ आपको कि that if the expenditure is being incurred by the recipient, but that is the responsibility of the supplier, then and value has been reduced, in that case, the GST will not accept. Clause B says you have to add in the value and GST need to be charged on the entire value. Then GST to be levied on 10 lakh. In this case, A is a contractor. Basically, he's supplying the contract value. He's supplying the work contract service to XYZ. So basically, for work contract service, I'm talking about Mr. A is a supplier and XYZ Limited is a recipient. Sudhanshu, let me explain once again. What is the crux? That value of the cement of rupees 2 lakh, which is being given by the recipient. Who is the recipient? XYZ. Free of cost. Will have any impact on the invoice raised by a supplier to XYZ. There is no third party. Why you are saying there is a third party? Where it is being written that there is a third party? Only two parties, one supplier A and one customer XYZ. So A has supplied the work contract service in which the responsibility include the incurring the expenditure of raw material, cement, labor, etc. That is the responsibility of A. Now in this transaction, cement worth of rupees 2 lakh is being incurred by the recipient and has been given free of cost to the A. Clause B say that you cannot reduce your price of rupees 10 lakh. You have to, so he is raising the invoice of 8 lakh. A is a supplier. XYZ is a recipient. A is a supplier and XYZ is a recipient. As per the contract, he need to raise the invoice of 2 lakh. But why he is reducing? Because some of the expenditure is being incurred by the recipient. XYZ is the recipient. So, therefore, he is raising the invoice of rupees 8 lakh because 2 lakh ka 2 lakh rupees ka cement has been given free of cost. So, as per the clause B, the amount of expenditure, which is the responsibility. The prima facie point is the who is responsible, whether supplier is liable to pay. If yes, then only it will be added. If the supplier is liable to pay, then only it will be added. I will give you the same example once again with slight changes. The 2 lakh responsibilities of the supplier given by the recipient, incurred by the recipient, and is being excluded from the value. Clause B says such exclusion is not permitted. You have to add 2 lakh rupees and the GST need to be paid on 10 lakh rupees. Sudhanshu, is it clear? Now, obviously, because he is a cement manufacturing company, so if he is giving the 2 lakh cement, which is a business transaction, the XYZ should also raise the GST invoice that you probably discussed in the supply chapter, that supply include barter transaction, lease, license, rental, disposal. Correct. Everything is being included in the supply. So XYZ should also raise the GST invoice. If the factory was made by the PQR limited by Mr. A, for PQR limited by Mr. and XYZ is a cement. No. I am saying PQR is a cement manufacturing company. Actually, PQR paid the amount of the cement instead of Mr. A, then what would be same case? Same case. So now you are saying, no problem. You are saying that A is basically constructing the factory for the PQR, and the responsibility of cement would be Mr. A. There is another party XYZ who has supplied the cement to A, but the payment is being made by the PQR. Please, Isan, you have to clear me one more thing. Whether Mr. A has reduced the price, instead of 10 lakh, he has raised the invoice of 8 lakh or not. Because if he's reduced the price, then only the clause B would come into the picture. See, only if the payment is made by the PQR, that doesn't mean how much invoice value is of Mr. A when he's raising the invoice to PQR. The 3 condition, always remember the 3 condition. What are the 3 condition? That first is that supplier is liable to pay. Incurred by the recipient and not included in the price. Then it will be added in the value and GST need to be charged on the entire value. Is it clear? एक बार confirm करें or kindly raise the counter question, no problem. So the only point, whether this value has been reduced from the invoice or not. If it is being reduced, then only we need to add. Clear, na? Fine. Thank you so much. See, now there is one important point. Please do not go by the name of the expenditure. Suppose if I will frankly say, suppose if I will use the word let's say in this example, if XYZ has supplied the petrol worth of rupees 2 lakh, will it be added in the value? Prima facie, your answer is no. Why no? You will say, sir, petrol is not leviable to GST. What I'm saying, that you might say that petrol is not leviable to GST and therefore petrol will not be added in the values. Please note the clause B, which talks about any expenditure which is the responsibility of the supplier incurred by the recipient, and important point, that has been reduced from the value. Now in this example, if let's say XYZ has given the petrol worth of rupees 2 lakh for the work, construction work, because he need multiple machines which is running. So petrol and diesel is being supplied by the XYZ. Will it be added in the value? Answer is yes. Not necessary that which expenditure are added. We are not adding the expenditure. We are adding the amount which is reduced. So we are adding back. We are again back adding so that it should be as per the agreement. Why we are adding? Because this reduction in the value is not permissible. Are we charging petrol? No, sir. We are only charging the work contract service A to XYZ. A has reduced by rupees 2 lakh because of any expenditure which is being paid by the recipient. Therefore, in this example, the petrol would be added in the value. Yes. Are we adding the petrol which is not leviable to GST? No, sir. We are adding the amount of the expenditure which is reduced. We are adding. So we are going back to the actual value of the invoice, which should be. I hope it is clear. एक बार confirm करें. Varsa, coming to your point. Third example would be this only which you have given. पहले मेरे को second example पे confirmation दें that petrol will be added in the value and GST need to be charged on the entire value including petrol. The complete works cost is liable, whatever it is. Yes, that's an absolutely correct. Now, last example, which Varsa has also asked. Let's say the scope of the works is say that he will provide the work contract service for construction, and whatever the material, that will be responsibility of the recipient. He will raise the invoice of rupees 10 lakh. He will raise the invoice of rupees 10 lakh, and let's say is given the free of cost cement. Whether it is the, see, always check 3 points. Whether it is the responsibility of the supplier or the recipient, you will give the answer no, sir. This time, the responsibilities of the recipient. Whether it has been reduced from the price, no, sir. The whatever the price which is being fixed, he is raising the invoice of that amount. Then there is no question. The clause B will come into the picture. Bhumika, see, the answer would remain same whether he provide any goods or any services. In my petrol ka example, petrol is not liable to GST. Petrol is not liable to GST. Are we adding the petrol? No, sir. We are adding just the unnecessary reduction which supplier has made. We are adding back. Whatever the amount is incurred, whether is incurred exempt supply, is incurred personal expenditure of Mr. A, anything. Same, Bhumika, same answer. If the expense is incurred by the recipient and it is the responsibility of the supplier and he has reduced the price, whether recipient has incurred exempted supply, whether expenditure is pertinent to the non-GST supply, like petrol is a non-GST supply, non-taxable supply. So the answer would remain same. Isan, So, sir, we will not deduct value of the petrol, and such petrol will be the taxable separately. Again, Isan, if you do this sentence, it will be the create confusion. We are not adding the petrol separately. Point number one. We are adding the work. We are charging the work contract service only. We are charging the work contract service only. Just they have reduced the price because of any expenditure by whatever name called, whether it is petrol, whether it is, let's say, exempt supply. Let's say they have given the supply of the milk to my labor. Immaterial. It is immaterial. Why we are adding? Always apply 3 tests. Whether it is the responsibility of the supplier, yes, it is the responsibility of the supplier. Whether it is being incurred by the recipient, yes, it is incurred by the recipient. And third, most important, whether by this amount, the value of the invoice has been reduced. If yes, then please add back. Clear? एक बार confirm करना, तो clause C में जाते हैं. We are moving to the clause C. Now, clause C says that incidental expenditure, including commission and packing, charged by the supplier to the recipient, and any amount charged for anything done by the supplier in respect of the supply at the time or before delivery will be added in the value. You all know. I give you example, you immediately give the correct answer. Let's say Mr. A is a supplier and Mr. B is a customer. A is supplying the goods worth of rupees 1 lakh. As per the request of Mr. B, he is saying to Mr. A, kindly arrange the transportation, kindly arrange the special packing. Whatever you will incur, please add in the invoice. I will pay you. So, what A is doing, A is adding rupees 5,000 for transportation, 3,000 for packing, let's say 2,000 for labor charges. He is raising the invoice for goods rupees 1 lakh. Packing charges, freight charges, labor charges, he is adding 5, 2, 3, total 10,000. Now, you please give the answer. The GST need to be charged on 1 lakh or 1 lakh 10,000. You all will give the correct answer. इस केस में जो जीएसटी लगेगा वो 1 लाख पर लगेगा या 1,10,000 पर? All are correct. मैंने बोला था ना, you all will give the correct answer. The answer is 1,10,000. Oh, some answer are 1 lakh. Oh, so sorry. The clause C says that if the incidental expenditure like commission, packing, etc., which is charged by the supplier to the recipient, and any amount charged for anything done, sir, anything done by the supplier, it will be added in the value. So the answer would be 1,10,000. I think it is very simple. Still, if you have any confusion, please ask. Multiple participant has given the 1 lakh answer. So confusion है क्योंकि क्लॉज सी क्या बोलता है? क्लॉज सी कहता है कोई भी अमाउंट अगर लिया जाएगा रिसिपिएंट से which is charged by the supplier, then it will be added in the value for anything to be done. It means we will add everything and the GST need to be charged on the total value, that is 1,10,000 in this example. Is it clear? Because some participant has given the answer as 1 lakh. Is it clear? एक बार confirm करना so that I can move to the next point. So like it can be commission. This may be paid to the agent and recovered from the buyer. Packing is charged by the supplier. Inspection or certification charges is another element that will be added in the value. Installation and testing charges, payment charges, loading charges, design charges, freight charges, any name. Sir, you add any name, doesn't matter. If it is being charged to the buyer, then it will be added in the value, and on the total value GST need to be charged. ठीक, बहुत बढ़िया, very nice, very nice. All are saying that it is clear now. Outward freight or transit insurance, where the supplier agrees to deliver the goods at the buyer premises and arrange for the transportation insurance, the contract of the supply become composite supply. The principal being the supply of the goods. Therefore, the outward freight and transit become the part of the value. See, the two things. See, we are adding this amount in the value. We are adding this amount in the value, right? Why we are adding? The first point, why we are adding. Second point, what would be the rate of the taxes? See that these are the two different points which I like to explain. First point, sir, the goods is worth of rupees 1 lakh. Supplier is charging 10,000 rupees on account of the transportation, insurance, packing, etc. Rupees 10,000, why they are added in the value? Because of the 15 subsection 2 clause C. Why we are adding? Because of the 15(2)(c). Addition is because of the 15(2)(c). Will it be added in the value? Answer is yes. The next important point, what would be the rate of the taxes on these packing charges? Recall the concept of composite supply. What is that concept? Two or more taxable supplies which is naturally bundled, out of which one is the principal and other are ancillary. In this example, we can clearly say that goods is the principal, other item are ancillary. So what is the rate of the goods applied on the other ancillary services, goods or services, whatever the case may be? It means, let's say my goods are taxable at 5%. The freight, insurance, labor, stand alone, they are having the tax rate, let's say labor, they are having the tax rate at 18%. But because of the concept of the composite supply, the GST would be charged on these elements at the rate of 5%, which is the rate applicable to the principal supplier. Now, construction example once more. वैशाली वापस एक बार ट्राई करना रिकॉर्डिंग से, अगर नहीं समझ में आएगा, if you not able to means understand from the recording, you ask in the next class, I will repeat, no problem. But एक बार recording भी देखिएगा. Try to see the recording because now there is a gap. किस example की आप बात कर रहे हैं? Probably it will take again the same time. So I would request, please watch the recording. If it's still not clear, I will definitely explain in the next class. No problem at all. ठीक है. 15 subsection 2 clause D says interest, late fees or penalty for the delayed payment of any consideration will be added in the value. Before explaining this concept, can you please tell me what is the time of supply for such interest, late fees or the penalty? क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि इंटरेस्ट, लेट फीस और पेनल्टी का टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई क्या हो? ईशान, एक्स फैक्ट्री का मतलब होता है द सप्लायर इज ओनली रिस्पॉन्सिबल टिल द फैक्ट्री. After that, movement of the goods, etc., will be the responsibility of the customer. So in that case, he will not incur the expenditure of the transportation, etc. So it will not be added in the value. Wow. So you all have given the correct answer. That what is the time of supply, sir? We have discussed in the last class. No? We have discussed in the last class on the Friday. The time of supply of such addition in the value would be the date when it is being actually received. Correct, on cash basis. So again, the concept is same. Composite supply ka concept. Why we are adding such addition in the value? Because of the 15(2) clause D. What rate of the taxes would be applied? Same, which is applicable on the rate of goods or services if it is a composite supply. Very, very important. Very, very important. The value of the supply shall include the subsidy, which is directly linked to the price, excluding the subsidy provided by the government. Subsidy, which is linked to the price, excluding the subsidy provided by the government. Now, please note that amount of the subsidy shall be included in the value of the supplier who received the subsidy. Now, to understand this, I will give you one example. What is the example? A is a supplier of, let's say, mobile. A is a mobile manufacturing company. A is supplying the mobile to Mr. B worth of rupees 10,000. And he charging the GST, let's say 1,000. A is making the supply to B. The mobile worth of rupees 10,000. Plus 1,000 is the GST. Fine. B is further supplying to Mr. C in 12,000. Perfect. Plus charging the GST of 1.2K. As of now, there is no problem. As of now, there is no problem. Why there is no problem? Because B is purchasing at 10,000. He is doing the value addition, or he is adding the margin of 2,000, and then he's supplying this mobile to Mr. C at rupees 12,000. No problem. Now, A is saying to B that kindly make the supply at rupees 8,000. आप इस मोबाइल को सप्लाई करो 8,000 में. एक बार फ्रॉम बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू एक बार कंसिडर मत कीजिए फ्रॉम जीएसटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. If I'm talking about, let's say you are B, will you be able to make the sale at 8,000 without any support? क्वेश्चन बताएं मेरा क्वेश्चन का आंसर दीजिए. ए ने बी को सप्लाई किया 10,000 में, बी मार्केट में 12,000 में बेचता है। अब ए बी को कहता है यार अब इसको 8,000 में बेचना स्टार्ट करो। फ्रॉम बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, कैन मिस्टर बी एबल टू मेक द सेल ऑफ दिस मोबाइल एट रुपीज 8,000? नॉट पॉसिबल सर, एब्सोल्युटली करेक्ट, नॉट पॉसिबल। नाउ A is saying, okay, if it is not possible, I will give you the subsidy worth of rupees 4,000. अब आप मुझे आंसर बताएं, क्या B सेल कर पाएगा 8,000 में आफ्टर रिसीविंग द सब्सिडी ऑफ रुपीज 4,000? अगर उसको A कहता है कि मैं आपको पर मोबाइल रुपीज 4,000 का सब्सिडी दूंगा, क्या अब पॉसिबल है कि B सेल कर पाएगा 8,000 में? क्या अब कोई प्रॉब्लम है? नहीं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है फ्रॉम बिजनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। ही वुड बी एबल टू मेक द सेल एट 8,000 आफ्टर रिसीविंग द सब्सिडी ऑफ 4,000। अब प्रॉब्लम किसका है? प्रॉब्लम जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट का है। अब प्रॉब्लम किसका? प्रॉब्लम जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट का है। कैसे? बंदा क्या कर रहा है? मिस्टर बी इज रिसीविंग द सब्सिडी ऑफ 4,000, एक्चुअली ही इज अर्निंग द प्रॉफिट, बट ही इज रेजिंग द इनवॉइस at rupees 8,000, paying the GST of 800. That is not acceptable to the GST department. समझ गए मेरी बात? ए ने बी को कहा कि मैं आपको सब्सिडी दूंगा 4,000, बी राजी, बी एग्री, and B is raising the invoice of 8,000, charging the GST of 800. Now the problem is to the GST department. The problem is to the GST department. They are saying, no. Here you are earning the profit, but still you are showing that you are making the sale at loss. यहां पे क्या B लॉस में सेल कर रहा है? Whether B is making the supply at loss? No, he is not making the supply at loss. Then he cannot raise the invoice below cost. बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल है, मल्टीपल एलिमेंट है, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द एंटायर एग्जांपल, ऑल एलिमेंट। यहां पे अगर B को अलाउ कर दिया जाता है इनवॉइस एट 8,000, व्हाट इज डूइंग? He is basically taking the input tax credit of 1,000 and discharging the GST of 800. उसका ITC ज्यादा है और liability कम है, even though he is earning the profit. So, if he is making the sale at loss, no problem. But if he is not making the sale at loss and is still paying the lesser amount of the GST, that is not acceptable. Therefore, the clause E says, if the subsidy is being given to the, then in that case, if the subsidy is being given, in that case, it will be added in the value of the supplier who received. See, in this example, there are three parties involved. In this example, there are three parties involved. A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Who is a supplier? B. Who is receiving the subsidy? It will be added in the value. So he is raising the invoice of 8,000. He has to also add in the value 4,000 and pay the GST on entire 12,000. Might be he can raise the same invoice with the 12,000, or he can raise a separate invoice. That is no issue. He can do the invoicing either same or separately, but only point, the Mr. B has to pay the GST on entire 12,000. Is it clear? If you have any question, please ask the specific question. At least first time you raise the question with any particular point which is not clear. I will explain again. There is no problem. But abhi jo aap mujhe question pucho, I am expecting that you please ask the question specific one. One question is that how the GST department able to know the subsidy when you do the GST audit. When you see the books of accounts, you might have booked as an income. Correct? You are booked as an income of 4,000 rupees. Might be they do while doing the laser scrutiny by the department, they able to understand that there is some incentive, there is some subsidy. अगर समझ में आ गया तो प्लीज कंफर्म इट इज क्लियर. If it is not clear, then ask the specific question. Still, I will repeat the entire example. But let me see how many participant has understood, how many participant has a specific query. Yes. He will raise the invoice. The first invoice will be like 8,000 plus GST. He might raise another invoice of 4,000 plus GST. Another possibility that he will raise the invoice of 12,000, charge the GST on full amount, minus he will do the subsidy, and the total value he will reduce from the invoice, so that actual amount जो उसको C को देना था वही दे रहा है. Yes, B will issue. See, there are two practice. Either he can issue one standalone invoice for 12,000 plus GST, then minus whatever the amount required to be deducted, so that net invoice value should remain 8,800. एक प्रैक्टिस ये हो सकती है. दूसरी प्रैक्टिस हो सकती है एक इनवॉइस 8,000 प्लस 800 का रेज कर दिया और दूसरा इनवॉइस 4,000 प्लस 400 का रेज कर दिया अपने लाइबिलिटी को पे करने के लिए. हाँ, अगर सब्सिडी गिवन बाय द गवर्नमेंट है तो उसे इंक्लूड नहीं करना है. व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? ईशान नहीं. दर्शन देखो, व्हाट इज द रिटर्न सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट? इट मींस इट विल नॉट इंक्लूड लोकल अथॉरिटी, इट विल नॉट इंक्लूड गवर्नमेंट एंटिटी, इट विल नॉट इंक्लूड गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज. Mr. B will pay the amount on the GST charged by him to C plus the subsidy. No. Why B will? No. B will pay the GST on the amount charged by him to Mr. C, that is 800 plus 400. So, in nutshell, I can say he has to pay the GST of 1,200. Mr. B have to pay the GST of 1,200. Monica, yes. See, he has to collect 8,000 plus 800 GST. Total amount which C will pay is 8,800. Correct. B has to pay the GST on entire 12,000. That is, the liability would be 1,200. How it can be paid? Let's say that B has raised the invoice. B has raised the invoice to C of 12,000, charging the GST, let's say 1,200, and total 13,200 minus whatever the amount you can calculate from the balancing figure. That total value would be the 8,800. So C will pay 8,800. B will pay the actual liability, or there may be the practice. One invoice will be 8,000 plus 800 and another invoice only for the purpose of making the liability, making the payment of the tax of the subsidy. Is that clear? Is that clear? B has the ITC of 4. Darshan, why B has the ITC of 400? We will have the ITC of 1,000. Na? We will have the ITC of 1,000. Why the B will have the ITC? हाँ, right, Diksha. So 800 will be collected from the consumer and the 400 ka liability will have to be paid by the supplier because he is earning the profit. Yes, Bhumika, absolutely correct. Any subsidy. So there will be the three party, any subsidy which is received by the supplier, it will be added in the value. If the subsidy given by the government, like, understand, see certain telecom companies, okay, let's say Geo, when they are installing the tower, then there are certain subsidy given by the government, telecommunication department, that please install the tower, we will give the subsidy. So that subsidy will never be added in the value. Why? Because of these provisions. Is it clear? So let me explain the example in short. That 15 subsection 2 clause E says that if the subsidy given by the government, it will not be added in the value. If the subsidy which is linked to the price, then the recipient of the subsidy, who is also the supplier of that particular goods or services, who is also the supplier, then this subsidy which is being received by the supplier will be added in the value. Why? Because this person is making the sale at lesser price. So what happened? He will take the ITC of the higher amount and pay the tax at the lower amount. So the clause E says that such subsidy would be added in the value. I hope everyone is clear with this. Let's move to the discount. This is the third concept, treatment of discount. The discount which has been given at the time of supply or the discount which has been given post supply. We are going to discuss two parts. That discount which has been given before or at the time of the supply, or the discount which is not been given at the time of supply, at a later stage it has been given. Then what would be the treatment? Very simple. If the discount has been given before or at the time of supply and it has been disclosed properly in the invoice, then GST would be charged on the gross minus discount recorded in the invoice. Very simple. Let's say I'm giving you mobile in, let's say, 5,000 rupees and I'm giving the 10% discount of 500. GST will be charged on 4,500. You can also recall the initial first example. Wristwatch, 2,000, then 1,800, then 1,500. What was that 200? What was that 500? The discount given at the time of supply, duly recorded in the invoice. In that case, the GST need to be charged on the discount. What we are reading, whether the discount would be reduced or not. There are two elements. First element is very simple. There is no problem. Whether discount should be excluded in the value, the first element, yes, it is clearly understood. But the problem is with the second element. What is the post-supply discount? In case of the post-supply discount, what does it mean? Let's take an example of the quantity discount. A is a main manufacturing company. B is a distributor. A is a manufacturing company and B is a distributor. A is making the supply to B, also giving the target. If B crosses, अगर B क्रॉस करता है क्या टर्नओवर ऑफ ₹10 करोड़, If we cross the turnover of 10% or 10 crore, then A will give the discount, additional discount incentive of rupees 5 lakh. Now the question is whether this 5 lakh would be excluded from the value or not. It talks about the three conditions. If there is an agreement at the time of supply, so there is an agreement between A and B at the time of supply, that yes, if you cross the turnover of 10 crore, the 5% would be the additional discount, 10% would be the additional, whatever that is percentage you can say. So the agreement has to be there. It linked to the relevant invoices. So it's linked to this discount, additional discount of the 5 lakh is linked to the relevant invoices because it's linked to the turnover of 10 crore. Third, most important, the Mr. B, who is a recipient, has reversed the input tax credit. Mr. B has reversed the input tax credit. In that case, Mr. B has reversed the input tax credit. In that case, we can say that if all the three conditions are satisfied, then discount amount should be excluded from the value. Now the problem is how it will be excluded, sir? How it will be excluded? Because the invoice has already been raised with the full value. See, when the invoice was raised of 10 crore, multiple invoices was there, it was raised with the full value. Now they are saying the discount, if you satisfy the three conditions, then A should exclude the discount from the invoice. How it is possible? This is possible by raising the credit note with GST. This is possible by raising the credit note by charging the GST. Sir, how? Because suppose Mr. A raised the tax invoice to B, A will pay the tax to the government. When A will raise the credit note, it is a reversal of earlier transaction, correct? He will reduce the liability. So when he reduces the liability, in nutshell, I can say A has excluded the discount from the value. Let me repeat once again, but before that, एक बार मुझे कंफर्म करें किसको समझ में आया, और अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो कौन सा पार्ट समझ में नहीं आया. मैं एंटायर फ्लो वापस रिपीट करने वाला हूं. No problem at all whether you have understood or not. I'm going to discuss the entire part once again, but at least tell me which part is clear, which part is not clear, entire is not clear or everything is clear. एक बार मुझे आप ये बताएं. fine, no problem. No problem. No problem. This is very important and it is very confusing. No problem. Let me repeat once again. See, we are discussing that discount should be excluded in the value. We are discussing the post-sale discount. It means sales was happened with actual price. Later on discount was given. A has issued the invoice from 1st April to 31st March. Let's say multiple invoices. Total invoice value is crossing 10 crore. A is saying at the start of the financial year, A and B has the agreement that if B cross the turnover of 10 crore, if B cross the turnover of 10 crore, then A will give the additional discount of the 5%, let's say 5 lakh rupees. So there has to be the agreement. First, agreement ka condition is clear to all. One by one baat karte hain. Whether agreement condition is clear to all, it should be at the time of supply, on or before the supply. Ye wala condition clear hai? Is this clear to all? Then what is the second condition? It should link it to the relevant invoices. We can say the 5 lakh ka discount is linking with some invoices. Na? And third condition is that the recipient has reversed the input tax credit. It means whatever the ITC which is there on the 5 lakh, the B has reversed the ITC. How B will reverse the ITC? Because A will raise the GST credit note by charging the GST. So B, who is receiving that credit note, he has to reverse the ITC. See, when A raised the tax invoice to B, can you please tell me whether B will take the ITC or B will reverse the ITC? एक बार बताएं, अगर A B को टैक्स इनवॉइस इश्यू करता है तो B क्या इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेगा या इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट को रिवर्स करेगा? सबसे पहले मुझे बताएं, क्या B ITC लेगा या B ITC को रिवर्स करेगा? पहले मुझे बताएं, पहला बात, क्या B ITC लेगा या ITC को रिवर्स करेगा? Will B take the ITC or will B reverse the ITC on the tax invoice? B will take the ITC, Bhumika. See, what is reversal of ITC? First, he received the ITC lega. See, A is selling to the B. A raising the tax invoice. It is our next chapter of ITC. We will discuss. अभी एक बार थोड़ा समझिएगा, मैं कोशिश करता हूं आपको थोड़ा पास समझाऊं. A जब B को टैक्स इनवॉइस इश्यू करेगा, तो A क्या करेगा? गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स पे करेगा. A will pay the tax to the government and B will take the input tax credit. Now let's say B has returned the goods to A. Let's say B has returned the goods. It is a sales return for A or it is a purchase return for B. When A returning the goods to B, I am giving you another example. मैं अभी डिस्काउंट से डिपार्च कर रहा हूं. आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ क्रेडिट नोट फर्स्ट, देन विल कम बैक टू द क्रेडिट नोट पार्ट वंस अगेन, डिस्काउंट पार्ट वंस अगेन. नाउ बी हैज रिटर्न द गुड्स. अब बी ने क्या गुड्स रिटर्न कर दिया, तो फॉर विच ए विल इश्यू द क्रेडिट नोट. A will issue the credit note. Let's say this is 10,000 rupees and GST is being charged 1,000. What is the credit note? Basically, when A has issued the tax invoice to B, पहले मैं explain करता हूं concept of credit note, वो एक बार clear कीजिए, उसके बाद ही आपको ये discount वाला समझ में आएगा. A जब tax invoice issue करेगा तो B क्या करेगा? ITC लेगा. जब let's say B goods return करता है, ठीक है, तो A क्या करेगा? A क्रेडिट नोट इश्यू करेगा. क्रेडिट नोट आप समझ सकते हैं, खाली अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए बता रहा हूं, फॉर योर बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग, द क्रेडिट नोट इज नथिंग बट द रिवर्सल ऑफ अर्लियर ट्रांजेक्शन, और आई कैन से इट इज ऑपोजिट ऑफ सेल। क्रेडिट नोट इज ऑपोजिट ऑफ सेल। सी, ए ने सेल किया तो ए ने गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स पे किया और बी ने क्या किया, आईटीसी लिया, बेनिफिट लिया। अब बी उस गुड्स को वापस भेज रहा है, वापस रिटर्न कर रहा है, तो ए क्या करेगा, जो गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स पे किया उसे वापस कम करना है ना, तो ए क्या करेगा, ए अपनी फ्यूचर की लाइबिलिटी को कम करेगा क्रेडिट नोट से। जब ये गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स कम चुका रहा है भविष्य में, तो बी क्या करेगा, अपनी इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट जो पहले ली थी उसे भी कम कर देगा। बी विल रिवर्स द आईटीसी। सबसे मुझे पहले बताइए, सेल्स रिटर्न का जो ट्रांजेक्शन है वो समझ में आया क्या? मैं एक बार रिपीट करता हूं, उसके बाद कंफर्म करना, एक बार 2 मिनट और दीजिए। ए ने जब सेल किया बी को, ए ने क्या किया, टैक्स इनवॉइस इशू किया, बी ने आईटीसी लिया। अब बी गुड्स को रिटर्न कर रहा है, ए क्या करेगा, ए विल इश्यू द क्रेडिट नोट बाय चार्जिंग द जीएसटी। ए विल इश्यू द क्रेडिट नोट बाय चार्जिंग द जीएसटी, ठीक है। ए क्या करेगा, ए क्रेडिट नोट इश्यू करेगा बाय चार्जिंग द जीएसटी। बी क्या करेगा, बी अपनी आईटीसी को कम करेगा। क्यों करेगा कम? क्योंकि ए ने जब क्रेडिट नोट इश्यू किया तो जितना भी क्रेडिट नोट के ऊपर जीएसटी है ना, उससे अपनी लाइबिलिटी कम करेगा। सी, टैक्स इनवॉइस विल क्रिएट द लाइबिलिटी ऑफ ए, क्रेडिट नोट विल रिड्यूस द लाइबिलिटी ऑफ ए। जब ए अपनी लाइबिलिटी कम करेगा तो गवर्नमेंट बोलेगी ना बी को भी, तू अपना बेनिफिट कम कर, तूने पहले पूरा आईटीसी लिया था, अब इस बेनिफिट को कम कर। तो बेनिफिट को कम करना मतलब आईटीसी को रिवर्स करना। अब एक बार मुझे आप लोग वापस बताएं, क्रेडिट नोट ऑन सेल्स रिटर्न, रिवर्सल ऑफ आईटीसी, ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है या नहीं? ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है नहीं? क्रेडिट नोट 4 सर्कमस्टांसेस में इश्यू किए जाते हैं, बट लेट मी कंफर्म दैट वेदर दिस कॉन्सेप्ट इज क्लियर टू यू और नॉट। चलो ये बात समझ में आई। सी, नाउ द क्रेडिट नोट कैन बी इशूड फॉर सेल्स रिटर्न, कैन बी इशूड फॉर टैक्सेबल वैल्यू एक्स्ट्रा, टैक्स एक्स्ट्रा, और गुड्स और सर्विस फाउंड टू बी डेफिसिट। मतलब ये आपके अभी बात नहीं करेंगे, we will discuss in the invoice accounts and records chapter once again, but credit note can be issued for 4 circumstances. कोई भी circumstances में आप इश्यू करो, but the treatment would remain same. Treatment would remain same. मतलब A जो क्रेडिट नोट इश्यू करा बाय चार्जिंग जीएसटी, प्लीज नोट वन थिंग, नाउ आई एम एडिंग वन मोर टेक्निकल वर्ड, जीएसटी क्रेडिट नोट. If A is issuing the GST credit note, then B will reduce the ITC, A will reduce the tax liability. Now coming to the discount. If A is giving the post-sale discount to Mr. B and 3 conditions are satisfied. कौन सी condition? There has to be the agreement on or before the supply. It is linked to the relevant invoices and B has reversed the input tax credit. Then A will allow to reduce the discount from the invoice value. It means A is allowed to issue the GST credit note. A is allowed to issue the GST credit note. क्या कंडीशन है? 3 कंडीशन इट लिंक. पहला कंडीशन तो क्लियर है ना, देयर हैज टू बी द एग्रीमेंट. व्हाट इज द सेकंड कंडीशन? इट इज लिंक्ड टू द इनवॉइस. मतलब ये जो डिस्काउंट है ये एडहॉक डिस्काउंट नहीं होना चाहिए, जो आपने पहले सप्लाई किया ना उससे लिंक होना चाहिए. इट शुड बी लिंक टू द इनवॉइस. दर्शन, इट शुड बी लिंक टू द इनवॉइस. मतलब जो आपने पहले सप्लाई किया ना उसी से लिंकिंग है. ये कोई नया डिस्काउंट नहीं है या एडॉक डिस्काउंट नहीं है. एंड थर्ड, ए जो जीएसटी क्रेडिट नोट इश्यू करेगा उसका आईटीसी बी ने रिवर्स करना है. सो इफ ऑल द थ्री कंडीशंस आर सेटिस्फाइड, देन A is allowed to issue the GST credit note. Is it clear? एक बार बताएं क्या क्लियर है? Is it clear? जो पार्ट कंफ्यूजन है ना वो एक बार बताएं, फिर एक बार 10 मिनट का ब्रेक लेके हम वापस रिज्यूम करेंगे. पहले आप मुझे बताएं कि कौन सा पार्ट क्लियर नहीं है और या कंप्लीट क्लियर हो गया अब. आईटीसी आजकल पहले ऑटोमेटिकली इट्स कम ऑटोमेटिकली. वर्षा, इट्स कम ऑटोमेटिकली. अब पोर्टल पर देना नहीं पड़ता, इट इज कमिंग ऑटोमेटिकली. Not necessary, son. I will also tell, if not, then what is the concept of the financial credit note? Everything we will discuss. Now let's take a break of 10 minutes. मनीष जी आप 10 मिनट का ब्रेक स्टार्ट कर दीजिए. We will resume at 8:40. Thank you. Isan is saying that credit note will be for discount only, so GST will be on the amount of the discount, right? In wristwatch example, discount is also taxable, but in this discount, no, it was not taxable. Wahida, Miss R. Wahida, the watch example, the discount was not taxable because I am raising the invoice on the net amount only. If the freight charges is included in the invoice, then in the purchase return, the freight charges is included or not, depend upon the terms of the contract. At what price terms of the contract, whether he will be reimbursed or not, probably he will not reimburse or he will not allow to reduce. So depend upon the contract only. Isan, credit note will be for discount only. So the GST will be on the amount of that discount. Yes. And sir, is there any choice with the buyer to reverse the ITC or not as per his or her wish? No, there is no choice. So the discount will not be. See, the choice we'll explain, we'll discuss. Because I have to explain the circular 92 also, and which is very much detailed circular on the discounting part. What if the supply is made to the related person, they are also deemed to be the supply, sir? Yes, it is deemed to be the supply, but only the value is different. So there are certain valuation rules, rule 27 to rule 32, which will be covered in the CA final. If I'm making the supply to the related party or distinct party or non-monetary consideration are there, it is a supply, but only the value is something different at open market value. All these things are being given in the rule 27 to rule 35. So, which will be covered in the CA final. Isan, I think आपका question हो गया. Any other question? So, shall I move to the next part? Now, before moving the circular 92, let me explain you one more point. If the credit note is by charging the GST, which is called as a GST credit note, then recipient has to reverse the input tax credit. He does not have any choice. He has to reverse the input tax credit. Now, if the credit note is without GST, it is called as a financial credit note or commercial credit note. In the same example, let's say there is no agreement between A and B. There is no agreement between A and B. Then whether A is allowed to reduce the discount amount from the value, just give me the answer. Suppose there is no agreement between A and B at the time of supply, and is giving the discount without agreement of rupees 5 lakh. Will that 5 lakh be excluded from the value? अगर मान लीजिए A और B के बीच में कोई एग्रीमेंट नहीं है, and he is giving the discount of rupees 5 lakh, or let's say it is not linked to the relevant invoices. In that case, where A is allowed to reduce the discount, this amount from the value, the answer would be no, because these three conditions has to be satisfied. In that case, he cannot issue the GST credit note. Then he will issue the credit note, obviously, because he is giving the discount, but that credit note will be called as a financial credit note or the commercial credit note. वो credit note क्या कहलाएगा? GST का नहीं होगा, which will be called as a financial or the commercial credit note. Then such credit note, which is the financial or the commercial credit note, it will ITC not required to be reversed. ITC not required to be reversed by the recipient. Why? If the supplier issue the GST credit note, then he will reverse the ITC. Sorry, then he will reduce his output tax liability because he is issuing the credit note without GST. financial credit note or commercial credit note, then B is not required to reduce the input tax credit. Is that clear? Because he is not issuing the GST credit note. So there is no requirement of reversal of ITC by the B. So A will give the credit note without GST, which is also called as a financial credit note or commercial credit note, for which B is not required to reverse the ITC. Why is it issuing? Why A is issuing the financial credit note? Because the condition are not satisfied. So versa, it will not be excluded. Versa, it will not be excluded, right? Because condition are not satisfied. The condition, if satisfied, then only it will be excluded. But in that case, commercial credit note, GST. No. I'm saying without GST credit note is called as a commercial credit note. Well, commercial credit note के ऊपर तो GST लगेगा ही नहीं ना, because it is without. Is it clear? So I can say, if all conditions are satisfied, then it will be GST credit note. Supplier will reduce the output tax liability and recipient will reverse the ITC. Situation number 2, if the credit note is without GST, in other words, it is also called as financial credit note or commercial credit note. So supplier will not reduce the output tax liability and recipient will not require to reverse the ITC. I hope this concept is clear to all. एक बार confirm करना मेरे को. So I can move to the last discussion. Which is on circular 92. I can move to the last discussion on the circular 92. Yes, Darshan. Yes, Darshan. Absolutely. Now let's move to the last discussion, that is circular 92. Circular 92 is basically talking about certain type of the transaction. Give me only 1 minute. Give me only 1 minute. Circular 92. First is staggered discount. Buy more, save more. Staggered discount. Let's say if you purchase one item, then you will get the 10% discount if it is worth of rupees 5,000. If you purchase worth of rupees 10,000, then 20% discount. If you purchase 20,000, then discount, such on. Then in that case, because such discount are shown in the invoice itself, what we have discussed, let me go back. If the discount has been given on the invoice itself at the time of supply, then GST will be charged on the gross minus discount. Such a discount will be excluded from the value. Very simple. I hope it is clear. Second situation, let me discuss the second situation. Isan, even if any condition not satisfied, then situation number 2, right? Please share the page number of ICI study. So basically, I have made the presentation based on the request of the student only. I have made the presentation, so you can not remember or not link the page number also. ठीक है, बट फिर भी अगर आपको नहीं मिले तो मुझे आप नेक्स्ट क्लास में पूछ लेना, मैं आपको उसी टाइम बता दूंगा. Second case, periodical or year-end discount or volume discount. These discounts are offered by the supplier to their stockist. For example, get additional discount of the 1% if you purchase 10,000 pieces in a year. Additional discount of 2% if you purchase 15,000 pieces in a year. Such discounts are established in terms of the agreement. Condition number 1. Not shown on the invoice as the actual quantum of the discount get determined after the supply. In commercial parlance, such discounts are called as a volume discount. Correct? We have already discussed. Such discounts are excluded from the value if the condition, 3 conditions are satisfied. What are the 3 conditions? Agreement has to be there, linked to the relevant invoice, and the ITC has been reversed by the recipient. If the 3 conditions are satisfied, then the recipient, if the 3 conditions are satisfied, then discount will be excluded from the value, meaning thereby he will issue the GST credit. Is it clear as of now? एक बार confirm करें, so that I will move to the next condition. Clear, sir. Yes, sir. Clear. Thank you. I think Utkarsh, Bhumika has told me it is page number 5.67. It is page number 5.67. Thank you, Bhumika. Now, the situation is third situation. Secondary discount. These are the discounts which are not known at the time of supply, are offered after the supply is already over. For example, Messrs A supplies the 10,000 packet of the biscuit to B at rupees 10 per packet, and after Mr. A revalue at rupees 9 per packet. Then A issuing the credit note to B at rupees 1 per packet. Such discount shall not be excluded while determining the value, as such discount are not known at the time of supply and the condition 15(3)(b) are not satisfied. Meaning thereby, suppose there is no agreement, suppose there is it is not linked to the relevant invoices, or the recipient is not reversing the ITC. These 3 conditions are cumulative condition. All 3 conditions has to be satisfied. in that case, the discount are not to be excluded while determining the value. And if it is not being excluded for determining the value, then it is called as a financial credit note or commercial credit note. Even if the conditions are not, obviously, see, when the conditions are not satisfied, for our accounting purpose, we can issue the credit note now. See, the GST cannot control our accounting procedure. Suppose if I am not satisfied the condition of 15(3)(b, then I would be allowed to issue the financial credit note, correct? Because it is not related to GST. मैं books of accounts में तो कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ ना. So they are saying it may be noted that financial credit note can be issued even if the condition of 15(3)(b are not satisfied. Such credit note do not include GST. We have already discussed, and do not have impact on the value of the supply for the purpose of the GST. Is it clear? एक बार confirm करना. This was the last case which we have discussed. Is it clear? Please explain the second case. Financial credit note issued the no GST credit note. Yes, always issued by the supplier. In case of the staggered discount, it will be excluded if all the conditions are satisfied. See, staggered discount will be given at the time of invoice itself. So the example number 1 will be given at the time of invoice. So if it is being given at the time of invoice, there is no other condition. So अगर discount मैं invoice के time पे ही देता हूं, तो फिर तो और कोई condition ही नहीं है ना. सर एग्जाम में सेम लिखना है. एग्जाम में आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है इन योर ओन लैंग्वेज. मोनिका, मुझे लिखना कैसा है? मुझे ऐसा ही लिखना है कि द डिस्काउंट विल नॉट बी एक्सक्लूडेड बिकॉज द कंडीशन ऑफ द 15(3) सेक्शन नंबर यू कैन राइट और यू कैन एक्सक्लूड रिमूव दैट because the condition are not satisfied or condition are satisfied, so it is discount will be excluded. We are issuing the GST credit. All clear, all clear, all clear, all clear. Let's say, Isan, I'm repeating the second case once again. Year end discount. So this case I have already covered. Na? The example which I have took to explain the entire concept, I have took this example only. Na? I have given the target of 10 crore. Once you achieve the target of 1 crore, I will give you the discount of 5 lakh rupees. It is linked to the agreement. It is linked to the relevant invoices. And if recipient is reversing the reversing the ITC, then supplier will issue the GST credit note. So यही तो बात हमने बात की थी ना, volume discount, turnover discount. So I told you 5%. Here they are saying something like that if 10,000 pieces is for 1% discount, 15,000 pieces to 2% discount. Let's say there's in a staggered manner. If all the conditions are satisfied, then only. So this language should come. Monica, this language should come, and everyone, this language should come that if all the conditions are satisfied, then discount should be excluded from the value. If the conditions are not satisfied, discount will not be excluded from the value. ये वाला condition आना चाहिए. ये वाली लैंग्वेज आनी चाहिए. ठीक है, तो अभी हम आज का डिस्कशन हम कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं. लेट्स मूव टू द फर्स्ट सम क्वेश्चन एंड देन लास्ट माय क्विक राउंड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आंसर. रीड द क्वेश्चन एंड देन गिव मी द आंसर. बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. गिव मी द आंसर A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D? What is the right answer? अभी तक जितने भी आंसर आए सब करेक्ट है. माय गॉड, ग्रेट यार, वेरी नाइस. दर्शन, दिनेश, उत्कर्ष, वाओ, दीक्षा, दिनेश, ईशान, भूमिका, वैशाली. So some participants are with other option. Let's see why. Can anybody tell me? I am linking one schedule in this question. Can you please tell me which schedule I am referring? मैं कौन से शेड्यूल को यहां पे लिंक कर रहा हूं? कैन एनीबडी टेल मी विच शेड्यूल आई एम रेफरिंग हियर? इंटरलिंकिंग. नाउ वर्षा इज राइट. वर्षा, ओके ओके, देर आर, वर्षा इज राइट. वैशाली एंड भूमिका, कैन यू प्लीज एड योर रीजनिंग ऑल्सो? क्या बात है? कौन से शेड्यूल की बात कर रहा हूं मैं एक शेड्यूल का बात कर रहा हूं जो कि सप्लाई के चैप्टर में आपने पढ़ा था. यस, उत्कर्ष राइट. ईशान एक्सीलेंट. विच शेड्यूल आई एम रेफरिंग? सप्लाई even without consideration. Which schedule? Can you tell me? Supply even without consideration. Which schedule? It is the schedule 1. So now, actually this question is interlinked with 2 chapters. One is the value of the supply which we are discussing, and one is supply chapter, that is schedule 1. What is that, sir? In the schedule 1, there is one para that if you are making the supply to the distinct person and the related person, even without consideration, it will be treated as supply. And we have discussed just now, employer and employees are a related party. Employer and employees are related party. So that therefore the right answer is C. They are the related, and the goods has been given to cost to the employee without free of cost. So it will be without. Can anybody tell me what is the relevance of this amount? Can anybody tell me what is the relevance of this amount? इसका क्या relevance हो गया यहाँ पर? क्या बता सकता कोई? What is the relevance of 60,000? Why I have mentioned 60,000? Appreciate the answer. I'll appreciate the answer. So, oh my God, great. Darshan, Sudhanshu, Bhumika, Rajiv, Utkarsh, Ishan, everyone has given the right answer. Schedule 1, correct. My next question, why I have used the amount as 60,000? Is there any point which I like to convey to you? Yes. Very nice, very nice. Darshan, Utkarsh, सुधांशु, बहुत बढ़िया बेटा, बहुत बढ़िया. क्या बात है? मैं क्यों 60 कह रहा हूं? बिकॉज एज पर द प्रोवाइजो इन द शेड्यूल 1 para 2 it is written that up to 50,000 it is not taxable. Up to 50,000 it is not taxable, and as a reason I have mentioned the word 60,000. As a reason I have mentioned the amount as a 60,000. Thank you so much for picking this tricky point. Next, when the transaction value will not apply. किस केस में ट्रांजैक्शन वैल्यू अप्लाई नहीं होगा? बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन। इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चन, राइट ना? दर्शन राइट आंसर, सुधांशु राइट आंसर, यू हैव गिवन द राइट्स, दर्शन, सुधांशु। एक रिक्वेस्ट है मेरी, सबसे सबसे मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है, ऑल आर रिक्वेस्टेड टू कनेक्ट विद मी ऑन लिंक्डइन। इट इज नॉट द मार्केटिंग एट ऑल, बट मैं जानना चाहता हूं जब भी आपके एग्जाम्स हो, जब आप क्लियर करो तो मुझे टैग करके आप बताना कि सर मैं पास हो गया या मैं पास हो गई, मुझे बड़ी खुशी मिलेगी बच्चा। मतलब प्लीज कनेक्ट विद मी on LinkedIn. My name is Arun Chajad. You can just type in the LinkedIn profile, only LinkedIn, no Facebook, no nothing there, only LinkedIn. Kindly connect in LinkedIn. And जब भी आप लोग अपना एग्जाम क्लियर करो ना, तो आपको एक प्रॉमिस है कि आप मुझे टैग करके जरूर बताएंगे, पोस्ट करेंगे अपना मार्कशीट है जो भी, और टैग जरूर करेंगे, सो दैट आई वुड बी मच मोर हैप्पी कि दैट यू ऑल हैव क्लियर द एग्जाम्स। ठीक है, जब भी आपका एग्जाम्स, ठीक है, तो ये मेरी रिक्वेस्ट आपसे। ठीक है, मैं कनेक्ट रहना चाहता हूं आप सभी लोगों के साथ, बिकॉज इट इज ऑनलाइन क्लास, इट नॉट पॉसिबल, सो एटलीस्ट वी हैव द प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ द प्रोफेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म, दैट इज लिंक्डइन। ठीक है, वन पॉइंट इज दैट व्हाट इज द राइट आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन देन? सर, सेक्शन 15 subsection 1 we have discussed that transaction value will be accepted, but the two condition that recipient should not be related and that consideration should be in money. If it is a related, not acceptable. If it is an other than money, not acceptable. So right answer is both A and B. Third question. Try to understand the question, give me the answer. उत्कर्ष क्लियर है ना? वर्षा सेठे क्लियर है ना? वर्षा सेठी क्लियर है? उत्कर्ष सिंह, इज इट क्लियर नाउ ना? ईशान, आई होप इट इज क्लियर. If the discount has been given after the supply, then when the discount amount is excluded from the value, when the discount amount will be excluded from the value. If the discount has been given after the supply, when the discount amount is excluded from the value. Yes, if all the three conditions are satisfied. If all the three conditions are satisfied. Yes, Isan, your answer is yes. If all the three conditions are satisfied. Darshan, I like to understand all the conditions. You have already written. Dinesh, please mention the condition. मैं बेसिकली आपको यही तो यहाँ पे रिवाइज करवाना चाहता हूँ कि कंडीशन क्या क्या थी. so that if the exams will, in the exam, if the question will be asked, you would be able to give the reply correctly. Correct. First, there has to be the agreement. Please write on or before the supply. Do not write any other word. Please write the agreement has to be there on or before the supply. Second, it should be linked to the relevant invoicage. Third, the recipient has reversed the ITC. Then the discount amount should be excluded from the value in case of the post sale or post supply discount. Fine. I hope all are clear. Give me the answer to the next question. Very simple question. Yes. Versus set. Your answer is right. Your answer is right. All the three conditions are set up. Contract agreement is there related to invoice. Yes. ITC backed by the recipient. You should use the word ITC reversed by the recipient. But otherwise everything is okay. No problem. बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछा है मैंने. बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछा है. The answer would be, we have already discussed, answer would be no, because TCS will never be included. There is a specific circular 76 which talks about that TCS is not the tax. It is only interim levy. It is only the interim collection. It is not the levy at all. It is not the taxes at all. Next, if the subsidy is given by the government, then will it be included in the value? If the subsidy is given by the government, will it be included in the value? वर्षा चल जाएगा. टेक्निकल वर्ड थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस करेंगे ना. वर्षा शेठे थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस करें, बिकॉज समटाइम इट इज रिक्वायर्ड. एक्चुअली थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी, तो बट हो जाएगा. कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है ना. एक्चुअली होता क्या है, exams, when we are giving the exams, so the examiner judge based on the language which I am using, whether my concept is clear or not clear, he will not be aware about that. तो उस केस में क्या, थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा विद दिस लैंग्वेज. If the subsidy is being given by the government, will it be included in the value? Answer would be no. Answer would be no. So Manish ji, अब आप मुझे सेंटर में कर दीजिए. Whatever the discussion I will, so I will ask. Last 15 minutes to all the participants. Last 15 minutes is the quick round of the question answer. I will ask the question, you will get the answer. it may be related to the time of supply, it may be related to the value which we have discussed today. Ready? Random जो भी मेरे माइंड में आएगा, I will ask the question. ठीक है ना? स्टार्ट करें? चलो सर, पहला क्वेश्चन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई. Time of supply of the goods under reverse charge. What is the answer? What is the time of supply for the goods under reverse charge? We have discussed some point, and whichever is earlier, that will be the time of supply. Please give the answer. What is the time of supply? What is the time of supply of goods under reverse charge? Basically, I like to ask 12 subsection 3 of the CGST Act. What is the time of supply of goods under reverse charge? आंसर बताओ. दीक्षा, उत्कर्ष, वैशाली, राजीव, कोमल प्रजापति, मोनिका, सुधांशु, दर्शन, दिनेश, ईशान. कितना आपको याद है मालूम चल जाएगा. ओ माय गॉड, वाओ, क्या बात है. There are the three conditions which we have discussed, or three clauses which we have discussed. First is the yes. Hello, Harshavardhan. Ready. Ala Harshavardhan ready, right? There are three conditions. One, the date of the receipt of the goods. Second, when the payment is made by the recipient. What is the meaning of the payment? Entered in the books or debited in the bank, whichever is earlier. And what was the third condition? Invoice following 30 days. You will not use the word in exam plus 31. My dear friend, you will not use the word plus 31. You will keep in your mind only. When you will write in the exam, you will use the word invoice immediately following 30 days. Immediately following 30 days from the date of invoice issued by the supplier. आप प्लीज 31 मत ऐड करना. आप प्लीज 31 लिखना मत. माइंड में आपको ऐड करना है, वो मालूम है, क्योंकि इमीडिएटली फॉलोइंग 30 का मतलब 31 ही होता है. लेकिन आपको एग्जाम में 31 का लैंग्वेज नहीं लिखना है. ठीक है. Now, listen my question carefully. Listen my question carefully. Whether advance for supply of the goods under reverse charge, whether only advance given for the supply the goods under reverse charge, is it taxable, or advance is not at all taxable? At the time of advance, in case of the reverse charge for supply the goods, at the time of advance, whether it is taxable or not to consider the advance. Diksha, 30 days, not the 60 days. उत्कर्ष सर्विस नहीं, गुड्स की बात कर रहा था. लास्ट क्वेश्चन. उत्कर्ष शेयर कर दूंगा मैं, आज शेयर कर दूंगा. द बोथ पीपीटीज टाइम ऑफ सप्लाई एंड वैल्यू सप्लाई, इसका पीपीटी आपको आज मिल जाएगा. It will be uploaded by the ICAI. I will give both the PPT today only. In case of reverse charge, it is still taxable. Yes, in case of the forward charge, advance made redundant. Can you please tell me in which case under the forward charge also supply of the goods under forward charge is still the advance is taxable in which case? बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. Someone has already given the answer. Yeah, wow. In which category the advance is not taxable? Sorry, in which category the advance is taxable for supply of the goods under forward charge? The answer is if the supplier is registered under the composition scheme. If the supplier is registered under composition scheme. Very nice. In case of the voucher, if it is not identifiable, what is the time of supply? In case of the voucher, if it is not identifiable, what is the time of supply? If the voucher is not identifiable, then what is the time of supply for that voucher? Answer is date of redemption of that voucher. Great. Next question is, what is the last date to issue the tax invoice in case of continuous supply of the goods? What is the last date to issue the tax invoice in case of the continuous supply of goods? मोनिका, बेटा आप उसमें कर सकते हो ना, you will have the access to the recording, right? You can watch the recording, download my notes, watch the recording. Very simple. You can definitely revise. With concentration, kindly sit with 2.5 hours. It will be revised. What is the last date to issue the tax invoice in case of the continuous supply of goods? My God. क्या बात है दर्शन, बड़ा बड़ा फास्ट है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है बच्चे लोग जब आंसर देते हैं ना क्वेश्चन का, बहुत अच्छा लगता है. लिटरली बताऊं, फील गुड फैक्टर होता है एक टीचर के लिए. पास करना है आप सब लोग यार इस बार है ना. मतलब एग्जाम जब भी आपका जो भी एग्जाम ड्यू है ना, शुड क्लियर. एंड जीएसटी में आपका वो एग्जामिशन आना चाहिए. What is the last date to issue the tax invoice in case of the continuous supply of the goods? Either periodical statement or payment, whichever is earlier. या तो statement वो issue करता है या उसको payment मिलता है, whichever is earlier. Next question. We know that freight charges, etc., will be added in the value. At what rate? What is the concept? What is the concept that the taxability of such addition in the value will depend upon which concept? Let me repeat the question once again. I know that amount of freight, packing, etc. will be added in the value. But what rate would be applied? For that, I have to refer one concept. What is that concept? What is that concept? Thank you so much. The concept will be the composite supply. The supply which are taxable at principal will be same applicable on the ancillary item. Same rate would be applied. If the credit note will not be with the GST, then what is the name of the credit note? If it is not the GST credit note, what is the name of that credit note? उस क्रेडिट नोट का मैं नाम क्या दूंगा? अगर क्रेडिट नोट बिना जीएसटी का है तो उसका एक टेक्निकल नेम है. व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ दैट क्रेडिट नोट? The answer is financial or commercial credit note. In case of the financial or commercial credit note, whether recipient will reverse the input tax credit, whether recipient is required to reverse the input tax credit. Whether recipient is required to reverse the input tax credit. The answer is no. Answer is no. Can you please tell me, sir? Can you please tell me one example wherein we have discussed that taxes, duties, cess will be included in the value? Can you give me two examples? We have discussed two examples. So I'm asking two examples that taxes, duties, cess, etc. will be levied, will be added in the value. Two examples. Thank you, Bhumika. उत्कर्ष, अभी आपका क्वेश्चन पूछने का टाइम खत्म हो गया, सिर्फ मैं क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा. You have the time of 2 or 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes is with me only. I will ask the question. कोई बात नहीं बेटा, अगर सेपरेटली भी दिखाए तब भी ऐड करना है. The example is import of the goods we have discussed and tobacco. Very nice, very nice, very nice. In case of last date to issue the tax invoice, we have discussed that continuous supply the goods and service, in which case the minimum continuity of more than 3 months is required. हमने एक केस में more than 3 months की कंडीशन पढ़ी थी. What was that? Goods, continuous supply of the goods or continuous supply of services. At one case, we have discussed in the definition that the continuity would be required of 3 months, sorry. Which case? Continuous supply of the goods or continuous supply of service. This case में it should be more than 3 months. Thank you. It is continuous supply of service. Last question for the day. What is the last day to issue the tax invoice in case of sales on approval? Sales made on approval basis. What is the last day to issue the tax invoice from my side? Then class would be over. This would be the last question. क्या last date है invoice issue करने का? किस केस में? किस केस में? Sales on approval के केस में What is the last date to issue the tax invoice? What is the last date to issue the tax invoice in case of sales on approval? 31 subsection 7 हमने पढ़ा था. Wow. Very nice. At the time of supply or 6 months from the date of invoice, it has to be, invoice has to be issued. Not the date of the invoice, 6 months from the date of removal. 6 month was the from 6 month from invoice date मत करना. Invoice date, हम तो invoice issue करने की बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो invoice date तो होगा ही नहीं. 6 month from invoice date नहीं होगा. 6 month from the date of removal or time of supply, whichever is earlier. Correct. I hope this last quick round of the question answer is very useful to all of you. एक बार just quickly feedback देना. जो last हम 10 मिनट या 15 मिनट quick round of the question answer करते हैं, is it really helpful? जो लास्ट 15 मिनट का क्विक राउंड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आंसर होता है, जिसमें मैं कुछ भी पूछ लेता हूं रैंडमली. योर आंसर विल गिव मी द कॉन्फिडेंस अबाउट द क्लैरिटी ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट. ठीक है, तो आप लोग एक काम जरूर करना, कनेक्ट विद मी ऑन द लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल. जब भी एग्जाम दो उसके बाद एग्जाम क्लियर होने पर मुझे आपको इन्फॉर्म करना है. यही मेरी गुरु दक्षिणा है, यही मेरी गुरु दक्षिणा है. ठीक है, सो चलो गुड बाय, कल नेक्स्ट क्लास में मिलते हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच. गुड बाय टू ऑल ऑफ यू. मनीष जी.